welcome to Studio 5. We've got a great show for you. We're sitting down with Miss America, paying a visit to Up TV and taking a look at the film Ford versus Ferrari. So as we get those things lined up, let's jumpstart this week's countdown of the 5 big stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. We begin at number 5. At number 5, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL led his Seahawks to a slim win over the Bengals Sunday.
I'm a mixture of The Rock and Kevin Hart, maybe.
Yeah. But Russell Wilson also made news for his work with children off the field.
I pray for you guys. I'm always here for you guys. So why not you?
And with his Why Not You Foundation.
If we can inspire one kid, boy or girl, may change the world. If they can get a little glimpse of hope, get a little glimpse of what God's done for me in my life, then it's worth it.
With 6 playoffs, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 Super Bowl title, helping children is where Wilson's heart really is, alongside his wife, recording artist Sierra.
My mom, she was always the one that was really making sure that we went to church, making sure that we would pray together, making sure we would do all those things together. And she showed me faith when my dad was sick.
At number 4.
The first time I visited death row, I wasn't expecting to meet somebody the same age as me.
We get our first look at Just Mercy, based on the best-selling book from Brian Stevenson, who as a young lawyer began to blaze a trail of historic battles for justice, helping to free wrongfully convicted poor people from prison.
Your life is still meaningful, and I'm gonna do everything possible to keep them from taking it. You don't know what you're into down here in Alabama when you're guilty from the moment you're born.
It stars Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx and hits American theaters Christmas Day.
You the lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for driving all the way out here.
The countdown continues with number 3 in just a little bit. Nia Franklin is a composer who now holds the title of Miss America, and she's made history on a few levels. Take a look. That powerful voice.
Nia Franklin, New York, you are Miss America 2019.
Helped Nia Franklin to earn the Miss America crown and a place in American pageant history.
I'm a part of history.
With Nia as Miss America, Chesley Christ as Miss USA, and Kaylee Garris as Miss Teen USA, for the first time in history, all are black women. Being 3 black women holding the crown at the same time. What's that meant to you?
It's meant a great deal. It's been so great to share this with not only Kaylee, who's beautiful and has such a sweet spirit and personality, but also Chesley, because we're actually friends. We've been friends since 2016.
Wow.
So it's wonderful sharing this moment with her, and she's done so much for me. I mean, just letting me borrow gowns and interview outfits over the course of the years, especially when I was first competing. So to see her now reaching her dreams is just incredible.
Why is it still important that we make such a big deal about this moment in our history? I certainly thought it was worthy to be celebrated, and so did lots of magazines as well. But I know some people got some pushback, like, why are we still counting? Why does it still matter? Why is that important?
I think it's still important to count. I mean, I can't speak for the system that Chesley and Kaylee are in. I can't really speak to their system, but Miss America didn't even allow African American women to compete until the 70s. And Miss America in the 9th one out of 92. So you do the math. That's not a great percentage as far as diversity. And so that's why this is a moment of celebration, because representation matters, and it's important that little girls across the country that are not only black women or women of color, but any minority, whether you're Asian or Hispanic, living in America, if you're a minority, it's important to see people in minority positions in national roles like Miss America. That's why we made such a big deal out of it when Barack Obama became the first president of color to be in that office and to hold that position in office. So it's certainly something to be celebrated. And I said in the Oprah magazine, we were interviewed about 2 months ago, I said, you know, we're gonna keep counting until we can't count anymore. Because I really hope that this isn't the first and only time this happens. I hope it happens again, because for 91 years, this has never happened. For once, we're covering it the majority, and that's something that should in a way feel normal. And it didn't this time, and that's why it's celebrated. So I'm really excited to see if this can help invigorate other people to say, I can do it too.
And you, for a while, didn't think that you could do it. This was not on your path. What clicked?
Oh my gosh. My mom always told me I could do it. She's like, you can do it, Nia, you should try. And we got a couple of like brochures in the mail But I was like, no, I'm just going to focus on my career, my music career, working on my degrees. But when it came time to go to grad school, I realized how much debt I was in. And I was also looking for a way to be more social outside of just church in school, because one thing about grad school is I feel like it can be very lonely. For me, it was a way to make friends and have women in my life who were like-minded, who had similar goals and values to my own. And that's where the Miss America system came in. And I knew it was a scholarship organization as well, and I was in debt, so it just seemed like a perfect match.
Yeah, indeed. I want to get a little personal. Your father essentially nearly died, am I correct? And you helped to save his life. Tell us what happened.
Yes, so my freshman year of college, when I was studying at East Carolina University, I went home for Thanksgiving break. I was told to go to the intensive care unit at Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem, and went into the room to find my dad fighting for his life. His kidneys were failing. He looked like a completely different person. He was so swollen, and I just immediately started crying and just didn't know what was happening. And so after 2 years of him battling this disease, in and out of the hospital, in and out of physical therapy, we thought he was getting better, but then he would relapse. Finally, the doctors thought that we should try a stem cell transplant. And so in 2013, they started looking up matches, and there weren't any in the public pool of applicants, donors. And so they started looking at family members, and my aunt was a match, but they also were saying, you know, let's look at the children too. They're a little younger, prefer a younger candidate for these things, and I was a perfect match. So it just seems like such a miracle, and we definitely knew it was a work of God, and we're so grateful, because after this stem cell transplant, it was definitely a slow recovery process, but after 6 years, he's back working full time now, and he's still a little stiff. He was bedridden for a long time and not able to like even get up and walk, so he's still a little stiff and can't do certain things, like he can't bowl, for example, because you have to kind of get down and squat. But we hope one day he will be able to do that, and you know, it's just a continued process, but we're so grateful that he's here and that he's not battling the disease anymore.
Now you can catch Miss America on American television December 19th. There we will watch Nia Franklin pass on the crown.
Still ahead.
Our promise to a viewer is to uplift them every day. Quite simple.
Entertain, uplift, and inspire. The CEO of Up TV takes us inside the network.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No Super Falls man. Come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
And you are back in Studio 5, where the countdown of the best headlines in uplifting entertainment continues now.
At number 3.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
Folks at the Toronto Film Festival Saturday were the first to see Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers at the world premiere of It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
And since that debut here, Tom Hanks and the film have received nearly perfect reviews and ratings.
You have to look at his output on television, and it was singularly honest.
The film opens in American theaters November 22nd.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
At number 2.
My first memories of the Bahamas were just magical.
Rock star Lenny Kravitz calls fans to action for the Bahamas, following Hurricane Dorian's deadly devastation to the island he calls home.
There's no place I'd rather be right now than on the ground, helping with my 2 hands.
Kravitz's heart to help is no surprise, as Studio 5 first learned early in his acting career on the set of The Butler.
Lenny, you talk of your Christian faith, and I've watched interviews, and I believe you even led your father to Christ.
It's a gift. You know, I'm appreciative of the blessings that God gives me.
Blessings he's sharing with his island home on the long road to recovery.
I know that we've all been praying for the Bahamas, and that's wonderful, but we can also take action.
And that's going to leave us with only one more headline in this week's countdown. Be sure to stick around for that. We're going to turn now to the small screen. Up TV is an American cable television network. It is one to watch, and we're sitting down with its creator.
Shows like Bringing Up Bates, Gilmore Girls, and Heartland are fan favorites for the Up TV cable network, a trusted destination for television the family can watch together. Charley Humbard began back in 2004.
So in terms of the beginning for you all, the start, where in Atlanta or the Georgia area were you when you began?
My basement.
Are you serious?
Yeah, serious. So this channel started in my basement in Peachtree City.
Humble beginnings for the network with offices now in Atlanta, New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. We visited Humbard in Atlanta.
Sitting here, it would seem to me that your journey to Up really began with your dad.
Started when our first show was at 5 years old. My sister and I did a show called Elizabeth and Charley Visits the Holy Land. So we literally shot there for a month and a half in Israel, and we're one of the first to take people from around the world. The show aired worldwide on a tour, a personal tour of the sites that mattered to them across Israel, and narrated it at 5. And my sister was 8, so that was my first experience with television. Just early memories there.
The scripture starts out by saying, after 6 days.
Charley's dad was Rex Humbard, a pioneer in television ministry, and the famed founder of the Cathedral of Tomorrow.
The first televangelist. So in 1974, the managing editor of Time magazine was doing a story on Dad. It was a feature story that year, that month, and he called him back up and he said, Rex, it was going to be a great story. I'm not sure what to call you. You're this preacher that does Sunday morning television, but you're also this like evangelist guy. So I was going to try this name called Televangelist. Dad's, sure, whatever you want to call it. And it's now a Jeopardy question. So that's where that all began. But Dad went on television in 1952. So there was one other pastor, I think, on doing some specials at the time. And so Dad really was the first televangelist as we know them today. He was a visionary.
And passed this along to you, the visionary.
Those are pretty big shoes to fill. I think he passed a lot of things along to me that we use in our business today. And the way we think about our brand, the way we think about our business today, certainly I think is influenced by my dad. The way we are a very inclusive network came from my father. I grew up in a church where one Sunday it was Andre Crouch and the Disciples, the next Sunday it was Pat Boone, the next Sunday it was Johnny and June Cash. So a wide variety of exposure in my life that way. And a lot of our values we have and the way we program comes from Dad. He was never one to tell you were wrong. He really believed in being an example, and if it worked for you, you would come along.
In terms of your education and formal training, you studied more music as opposed to you?
I went to music business school.
Okay.
Don't tell anybody, but I'm a one-year college dropout.
And for this college dropout, what's now Up TV actually began as the Gospel Music Channel.
I've always had music as a passion, so that was the other piece when I thought about Gospel Music Channel. It seemed like such the perfect fit for me because I could really use my passion as well as my experience. And in life, when you bring those two together, it's that intersection that you're looking for, right?
So how do we go from Gospel Music Channel to GMC to Up TV?
In the cable industry, in our model, of course, you get license fees from cable operators, but you also have ratings. And so Nielsen is, you know, your friend or not your friend, but you have ratings. And in gospel and Christian music, there are a lot of passionate fans that will watch it all day long. They have it on in the house. But there wasn't enough in the masses to drive the ratings numbers necessary to get the bigger advertisers. So we had some early believers, Ford and Lincoln came in, and some others that supported the gospel part of this. But we had to get beyond that. So we started testing some series. We had Amy Grant's Make-A-Wish that was on, and we got good response from the audience, so we started digging in, doing more research. We found Christian movies could have a great home here. Movies like The Blind Side could have a great home here. So we started to expand the programming beyond just gospel and Christian music and rebranded the network because we got to a point where we had probably 70% of the channel was not music. So it was a little confusing, the music channel. You've seen it, the same thing happen with CMT, Country Music Television, you know, they went a different direction. MTV started all music. They don't have a lot of music on today. Right. So there's a reason those trends happen. For us, it was much the same. And but the good news is, unlike a lot of brands that had to completely change their, you know, what they stood for, what they were about, we were always an uplifting brand.
And among the latest additions to the brand,
Up TV's new series, Our Wedding Story.
Family's so important to us. We really did this wedding for my mom and his dad.
And next up for you guys,
I think next up for us is a really hard intentional steer into making movies again. We've kind of still made them for Christmas. We used to make about 18 movies a year. People loved us for it. We're going hard back into movies.
Up TV is certainly one to watch. Check your local listings for more on the hit shows. You should also check out its Aspire network. Now, before we go to break, it is time to say it in pictures. Here's a look at this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
My uncle had migraines like that. They're commonly stress-related, and long story short, yoga helped him with his migraines, but not with his alcoholism, and he died.
We're counting down until friend of Studio 5, Patricia Heaton, returns to television in a new sitcom, Carol's Second Act. It's now just 2 weeks away, and it's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Just moments away.
What you can buy speed.
What about speed?
Two Academy Award winners unite to bring a remarkable true story to screen, celebrating two world-famous automakers.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We have made it to the final headline in this week's countdown. Here's number one.
number 1.
I speak to God in public. I keep my rhymes in couplets.
Chance the Rapper welcomes a new baby and postpones his tour a few months for paternity leave, sharing on Instagram. It's been strenuous having to divide my time and energy between family and work. He also notes when his first child was born, he went on tour 2 weeks later and missed some of the most important milestones in her life. But more importantly, I was absent when her mother needed me the most. At this point, as a husband and father of 2, I realized that I can't make that mistake again.
So are you ready?
The rapper also recently shared his prayer for he and his wife's star-studded wedding.
The spirit was in there. We had like a special little mini surprise concert for my wife with Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond and Hezekiah Walker.
Beautiful.
And it was in the whole union. But between us, like how we talked about what we planned it for was we wanted it to be a union for God. So we wanted it to be like something that he could be proud of.
And he knew those prayers were answered when several people at the reception shared,
"Yo, man, I know this sounds weird, but today just makes me feel like there is a God." When you get those interactions, it's like, this is the best thing that could come out of this.
And so wraps this week's countdown. Academy Award winners Matt Damon and Christian Bale star in Ford vs. Ferrari. It's based on the remarkable true story of American car designer Carroll Shelby and British-born race car driver Ken Miles. Together, they battled corporate interference, the laws of physics, and their own personal demons to build a revolutionary race car for Ford Motor Company. Here's your Studio 5 first look.
Look out there. Out there is the perfect lap. You see it?
I think so.
Most people can't.
Carroll Shelby.
Maybe.
Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor. Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What isn't about speed? You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult.
No, Ken's a puppy dog.
No. Whatever it is, Shell, no.
Trust me.
You're gonna build a car to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them that you needed? 200, 300 years?
90 days.
This isn't the first time Ford Motors has gone to war. We know how to do more than push paper. Go ahead, Carroll. Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster. When that don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history.
We still have a bit of a wait for this film. Ford vs. Ferrari is in American theaters November 15th.
Up next, the Queen with the incomparable voice returns with a word from the heart to help you on life's journey.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is
us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
Welcome back to Studio 5. For this week's Studio 5 soundtrack, we're going back in time a bit and getting Justin Timberlake's take on one of my favorites. Here is A Song for You.
Baby, can't you see through me? 'Cause we're alone now, and I'm singing this song to you.
His take on Donny Hathaway's Singing a Song for You. On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this episode of Studio 5. So here is a look ahead at what we're working to bring you come next week.
Fred Rogers grew up outside of Pittsburgh, and he dreamed of being a minister. He went to seminary school, and he gave people liberty to explore something deep and vulnerable about themselves.
I asked him to pray for me.
We told you earlier Tom Hanks is receiving rave reviews as Mr. Rogers.
We are trying to give the world positive ways to deal with their feelings.
We have an exclusive first look at the film to share.
This movie is sort of like an episode of Mr. Rogers for adults.
That's next week. Certainly hope you will join us for that. As for the final word for this show, we're giving that to Miss America, Nia Franklin. She has advice for her younger self and advice for you as well.
I would tell her to just not worry so much about her future. God's got it. And just to love life, to take every day and live it to the fullest, because you never know what opportunities are going to come out of it. You never know what challenges you're going to face. But just love what you do, trust yourself, trust God, and trust the path that He has for you.
Nia Franklin, that is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes us next week. Bye-bye, everybody.